we're all here, and I
Yeah.
want to make a special welcome to my costumer. I call her my costumer just because
Mhm.
anybody that helps me becomes my. I don't care how they help. And she saves my bacon just on a regular basis. Best costumer that we've had at Don Bluth, in my humble opinion.
I agree.
So everybody, yeah. So I'll let the rest of you introduce yourselves to Teresa, and we'll get on with this. So I'll start with
Teresa, I'm Bobby.
you. Okay, I should have known that was going to happen, right? Okay.
Yeah. Well, you asked me
That's what you get when you're not specific. You know, people jump in the holes that you leave. I leave a lot of holes in my discussion. But Dale, you can say hi.
Well, hi. We chatted a little bit before. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I can say that I actually wrote a book. Let's see, where does this go on my, oh, maybe I can't do this. I can't show my book. Oh my gosh, I got to get rid of my screen.
really?
I was going to show you my book of poetry, but oh, wait a minute. Hey, there we go. Whoops. Hey, that's amazing, isn't it? Okay. Well, anyway, I'm Dale Baker, and I wrote officially a book of poetry, and I belong to the Maui Live Poet Society, and I do a little acting and, all that good stuff. So nice to meet you, Teresa.
It was very nice to meet you too. I've heard about you from Gary, and yeah. So
Do you know Dean?
Well, he and I were visiting too before you got on.
So I'm Dean Mackay, and I've been friends with Dale and Bobby, and now Gary, and now you. And I'm an amateur poet. I basically started poetry when I was 11. When I won my first poetry contest, and I have not written a book, but I am in theater, and I love theater, and that was my love until I got sidetracked here lately. But glad to be part of the Poets Corner here with Gary and Bobby and Dale, and now you, Teresa. So I'm excited to share some poetry.
I'm excited too. Thank you. And I don't think Bobby gets any more. Bobby's already gotten several good lines in. I don't think he already knows Teresa, so I don't need to hear any more from Bobby.
Yeah.
Well, I was impressed with that poem you put up of Teresa's. That thing got like, how many shares? It was over 200 views.
It's over 200. And it keeps.
Yeah, but she had like 25 shares or something too.
Yeah,
29.
which are harder. Seem to be harder.
Yeah. Yeah, she just comes right in here first thing and blows us all out of the waters.
Well, I take credit for all of that. Every
Yay for Gary.
Yeah.
Because I hounded her until she gave me that poem. I mean, let's call it the way it is.
Well, I think she should start. Don't you think? Shouldn't she be first?
I think she should be first, but I got to tell this one more story about Teresa. Is that and this is what, if you had responded to my email earlier today, this is what I was talking about. One thing that she does is she writes a poem for the cast for It's a Wonderful Life and posts it, and everybody looks there for like information or what we're supposed to do or what we screwed up on or yada yada, but she posts her poem up there, and I just thought, that's really kind of a unique approach to poetry. I mean, what an interesting audience she has. Everybody, all the actors read her stuff, and it's, oh wow, well that's cool. So she is the resident poet at Don Bluth, not me. She swiped me out immediately. They kind of, a couple of them know I wrote a book or two, and all that, but I'm not the topic of conversation these days. So yeah, you need to go first. You don't have any.
Well,
we get to be very arbitrary on this show, you know?
So I don't know how you do this. You just read what you have, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty much. Sometimes
Okay,
I
so
steal things and read what somebody else had, but it's like, I was thinking about if you were going to keep dodging us, I was just going to claim one of your poems and
so you guys, or Gary, did you already read the poem about why I write poems that rhyme?
yes.
Okay.
I
No,
don't know.
I don't know that.
I mean that
I didn't hear
if,
that. All
if
I
you're
didn't
heard
hear
was,
that.
asking me, do I think you ought to read it? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that I have that, and then I have another one, but I don't have to share it today.
Yes, you do.
Oh, well, I don't want to,
Maybe
you know,
not. Okay, I should stop being so
I
snarky.
don't want to wear out my welcome.
Snarky, yeah.
Well, so I wrote this poem, this one, because Gary and I were talking backstage about poems rhyming or not rhyming,
Mm.
and I told him that I know that poems don't have to rhyme, but you know, I tend to write poems that do rhyme, and
Mhm.
so I wrote this poem about why I figured out why it is that I like rhyming a poem. So I will just read it.
There you go.
Okay, a second here. I know it's not required that a poem always rhyme, but that is the direction that I go when I write mine. My preference is the ending word of every other line, but can incline and find it fine to within one line confine. Of course, there is the option to line by line conform. I find this satisfying too, but it is not my norm. I find that I must ponder my penchant for this trait and see that this proclivity requires no debate. For whatever are the reasons I am who I came to be, the way I write my poems is no surprise to me. My mother was fastidious, my father followed suit. I rarely had the option for disorganized pursuits. My desk forever organized, my spices all in place. You'll rarely find a dust ball within my living space. Each item has a resting spot. Each drawer is lined with tins, which keep its contents tidy and findable within. I could go on explaining, but what would be the point? I think you get the picture for my rhyming counterpoint. However staid my process is, I shall attempt to flee the confines of my preference to write so monotonously. However, this day's penning has revealed transparently why you will find that poems of mine are thought out rhymingly.
wow.
Wow.
Wow, that was
That's
great.
that.
I'm glad I wasn't late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of work for me.
Yeah, me too. It
Wow.
wears me out, except that it's very entertaining, you know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I need a little bit more help, I guess. But you did good. Now the poem, just I don't know if you probably don't have the poem the last one you put on the board at the show.
I
We'll
don't.
save, well, we'll save it. Don't just erase it like my wife used to do occasionally.
I already did because
Ah,
well, I think somebody might have it, but what I do is I write a new poem each week that then talks about the new upcoming week of shows and stuff.
Yeah, that sounds kind of pedestrian, but it's actually very entertaining, you know. And I'm disappointed. Yeah, well, I don't know what I could have done. I suppose I could have taken a shot of it or something, but I'm too lazy to write it down. So I was hoping you could bring it, but you can bring it if you can recover it. But it's no big deal. I mean, I just think everybody would enjoy it. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is it my turn?
Yes. it's
Yeah,
Bobby's turn.
otherwise, this,
Well, I'm
can
kind
you
of
guys see
excited.
the little hand that's going around here?
I'm kind of excited, so I'll do mine.
Okay.
And I'm excited because what happened was Dean sent me, he said they used to do this in his college class. He sent me a poem and said, "It's yours now, finish it." Is that what you said, Dean?
Yeah, it's a tag. It's a team poetry, and the way it works is that the poet, such as myself, starts out with a few lines and then turns it over to another poet. But once that poet, who happens to be Bobby this time, he's the one that owns it. So he's the one that closes it, and that poem becomes his poem. But it's a way that both poets have a way of charging each other and then coming out with something pretty unique, because what you start out with may be totally different than what the poet you handed it off to. So that's team poetry or tag poetry. So I'm excited to share it, and I think Bobby and I are having a lot of fun with it. So I'll let Bobby take it from here.
Well, he sent me a poem, and it spurred it spurred things in my mind that probably weren't being spurred in his. But I'll just read you his, and then I'll read you what I wrote when he gave it to me. He wrote a poem to me that said, "You come knocking on my door, but I didn't invite you. You come in anyway, much to my dismay. You didn't come to play, so why did you stay? You came knocking on my door. I didn't even know your name. What a shame. You tell me you've come to take me away." So that was what he gave me. And this is what I got from that. "You came knocking at my door, but I didn't let you in. Yet there you were beside me, much to my dismay. You came knocking at my door, but I did not want to answer, yet you forced yourself upon me, even though I told you, go away. You came knocking at my door and said you're here to take me, asshole, asshole, asshole. I had not planned death today. I planned one more day of living, one more day to stay, one more day of misery before I would peacefully go my way. But you came knocking on my door, and I was not ready yet. So I guess even in my leaving, I don't get to have my way. Oh, well. Oh, hell, there you are and ready. Even though I did not ask you, you're going to haul my ass away. So please, dear friends, please, for me, will you pray today before I hear them knocking and have to go away?
Well,
Oh,
You
Well,
don't
that's
hear that
certainly-
every day.
Yeah.
You do not hear that. I actually, a while back, when I first started writing poetry, which is, I don't go back nearly as far as Dean does. But I had a friend who suggested that we do that, what you guys just did. One of us would start the poem and the other one would
Finish it.
add on to it or
Mhm.
finish it. And you could go back and forth on the same poem for a while, whichever.
Mhm.
We never got around to doing that, and I think now I've got a renewed energy to see if she's still up for it. You know,
Yeah.
I think, you know, my
Well-
I found it quite fun.
Mhm.
I don't know what he had in mind when he wrote it, but you know, it just spurred some thoughts in me, and so that's what came out of me. And it it was nice because he told me you don't have to finish it. It's your poem now. You can do whatever you want to with it. So,
So,
Well,
Dean,
if I could add one
Go
more
ahead.
thing here. I belonged to a group one time in Portland, a poetry group that I really loved. And when we got together, and there were like 20 people sometimes in this, one of the exercises we did is somebody started a line of poetry and put down like 2 lines, a couplet. And then you passed it on to the person next to you. And it went all the way around the room. And it was really quite amazing. We did that for a while. And then we would fold it down so that you couldn't see the first stanza. You could only see the couplet just before you. And we got some very interesting stuff there. And it really sparked some creativity in people. It was really fun. I really enjoyed that group. So I'm all in favor of doing something, you know, adding on to other
I think
people's
we
work.
should definitely give it some serious thought. I only have one question, and that's to Dean. You being the initiator, how did you feel about the direction the poem ended up going?
Well, it's always, I loved it. And it's because you start out when you just do this team tag and you hand it off, you've started the poem in a direction. But what's really great about this, Bobby, and he actually did one for me, and I'll do it here in a second.
Oh, great.
He put his own spin on it, but if you read this in its entirety, no one would know that it was a team poet
Yeah.
handoff. It looks like, really, if you think about it, the poem kind of blends. And even though Bobby had a different spin on it, the person reading the poem would never know that it was 2 people, the one that kicked it off and the one that finished it. That's what's nice about the poetry was that we both complimented each other. And yes, it's very different because we know each other. But I thought it was a very beautiful way that Bobby ended it. And I don't know, Bobby, your thoughts? Would you agree?
yeah, I like I say, I don't know if you had in mind where I went with it, but what you said to me spurred those thoughts. And, you know, we're at that age. I'm turning 70 tomorrow, and I'm just, you know, we're closer to the end than we are to the beginning. And so, you know, any day that guy can knock on my door. That's what came to my mind. And so
Yeah.
I hope I didn't say anything in the poem that needs to be edited out, but
I thought it was
We don't edit. We don't you know, we don't.
well, I thought I saw you flinching there, Gary, when because you know I can see you, even though you're clear over there in Scottsdale.
I probably was just trying to see if you guys saw my shirt, but you don't. I can never
we did.
show off.
Marley,
Yes,
Marley?
I'm a big Bob Marley fan. My daughter and I went to a bucket trip. For me was to go to Jamaica on our last vacation. So anyway, yeah, I to me, the person who I would expect to be the most surprised or the most engaged would be you, Dean, the person who initiated it, just to see where it went, you know. I mean, Bobby already knew where it started, and then he finished it.
I think it went perfectly. I mean, it was great to see someone take something that I started and actually, I'm going to be honest here, improve on it. I thought Bobby did a great job of bringing it home. And actually, the concept that I had with this person, why'd you come knock on my door, was the same feeling I was having, like, you know, I'm not ready, but Bobby grabbed it and made it his own and really put it together well. I mean, I would say it was beautifully done. And like I said, the way that the exercise works out is you never know it was 2 poets that put it together. When you read it, it becomes one. The only thing, the way it worked when I was in class in college, whoever initiated the poem and handed it off, the person that finished the poem, that becomes their poem. So it's the finisher that owns the poem.
I could live with that. I could
So-
live with that. Even if I were the initiator, I think I could live with
I mean, this is the way we did it in college, was that if you're the initiator, the person that finished it, then they own the poem and they have the rights to it. And then if you flip it around the other way around, then it's, and which Bobby did to me, then what he starts, then I become the owner of the poem. That's the way we did it in college. However you want to set the rules now, it's really up to you. So
I'm not a big rules person, but I think the exercise is a very exciting, to be honest with you. Dale.
Yeah.
It should
Well,
be in
I think for transition, it would be good to hear Dean's poetry, right? Because Bobby, you made one and then Dean finished it.
yes.
Yeah,
it.
well,
Oh, I
let's do
didn't,
that.
I'm sorry, I did not
Yeah, let's do
understand
that.
that it worked both ways. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
I'm
well,
open.
so Bobby returned me the favor. Hold on. I don't know why. So Bobby returned me the favor and he started out, I'll just read what he wrote. And Bobby, if I didn't do this right, let me know. But he goes, the way he started, he goes, I'm old, I'm sick, and all of a sudden I'm poor. I've never ever, to my recollection, been here before. Should I try to do what I've always done? Is it worth it to rebuild what's come undone? I was once young. I was healthy too, strong enough to work for what would get me through. Is it time? Has the clock stopped? Am I done? Should I put on the brakes and put a stop to my fun? That's Bobby. Now he hands it off to me. So I write, or do I let the clock run out? It seems like yesterday I had it all, health, vitality. Heck, I was invincible in my own mind. Yesterday was no more, health was no more, vitality was no more, invincibility shattered before my eyes. Ah, now I see the writing on the wall that tells me the truth of who I am and what must be done. The choice is mine to face my journey's end. That's the way I finished.
Hey,
Pretty good. So Bobby, you never heard that before.
no, I'd heard that. Yeah, he said
Oh.
it back to me, and I loved it.
Oh,
I
okay.
loved what he did with it.
Could you read the last couple lines again?
Now I see the writing on the wall. That tells me the truth of who I am and what must be done. The choice is mine to face my journey's end.
Yeah.
From this world
Yeah, good.
we live in.
Ta-da.
Yeah, I love it.
A great new game, poetry game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
I see us doing more of this. I see us.
Well, that's team poetry. I don't know what they called it. Bobby, what did they call it when you did it? We called it tag or team poetry.
You know what? I like tag poetry. I vote for tag poetry.
Okay,
Mhm, sure.
all right.
Tag poetry,
I'm
that's
sure
good.
like that. You're
Well,
right.
we
I
were,
was calling it Passover poetry, but
So,
Tag
well,
poetry.
Passover.
that has kind of a religious
it
connotation.
really
you
is a
know.
lot of fun.
You
So-
might have me there, Bobby. I don't know. You
no,
might.
I came from my preacher days. I like tag poetry better.
Yeah. Okay. We don't have to actually settle that today, but whatever you were going to call it, I think we should look to doing some more of it. It's very exciting. Yeah. All right, Teresa. Look at Teresa's nodding her head. She's happy. You know.
I
Yeah.
like it. Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're back to Dale.
Okay, well, I have a frivolous poem today because I've been too busy and the muse has not been with me, but here it goes. This is my fall trip 2023, my fall flight. The flight was long, but the wine was good. My seatmate was chatty, not snoring, not rude. Saw Barbie the movie, not at all just a doll. The message confusing, really, after all. My island airport was empty, so strange, so rare. But my ride home was bubbly, with stories to share. 3 days later, I'm still feeling lazy, but the sun is shining, and I'm going crazy, trying to write this poem.
Very good.
Been there. I've been there. Yeah.
Uh, so did you ever get there to crazy?
Oh, no. I just looked outside and I felt a lot better.
Oh yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I may have made it to crazy a couple times, but I came back. So I didn't have a real place to go, you know, if you're crazy.
It was a short trip,
Sort of
right?
like when you're a kid, you run away from home and then you
Yeah.
realize you don't know where the hell you're going, you know. You don't know when you're going to eat, you know, it's getting cold outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't last very long, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Okay, it's your turn, Bobby, or I mean, Gary.
No, it's Dean, isn't it? Or
Well, we didn't hear from
Gary.
Gary yet.
Gary,
Your
yeah.
turn.
well, you can just skip me if you wanted to.
No, no, no.
No, are you kidding? I would, all right, this is gonna seem a little bit odd. But I almost hope it feels a little bit odd. If it doesn't feel odd, I'm not getting what I wanted out of it. It's a little difficult to read only because when I enlarged it on Word, the somehow it, you know how you balance your poem line for line. You want to look a certain way. It destroys the look of the thing, which will make it a little bit harder for me to rhyme, as it were. But this is, you know, this is a statement piece. I'm at war with my website manager because I have this concept. I have failed for 2 years to get across to her about a certain thing I want to have on my Facebook page, well, on my social media pages. So anyway, here it is. Maybe y'all will get it or can help me convince her. It's called Contrarian's Creed. Welcome to the Bard's Contrarian Bar, where things are nearly never what you think they are. Take the 7 deadly sins you hear so much about, not nearly as deadly as folks make them out. It seems to me what they've come to be are the cornerstones of our society. To wit, the Magnificent Seven: gluttony, greed, lust, pride, envy, sloth, and wrath. Gluttony, less for you, more for me. Greed, give me more than I could ever need. Lust, gotta get me some quotation marks or what do you call them, or bust. Pride, I'm way too big to step aside. Envy, reserved for those with more than me. Sloth, doing a Zoom chat in my underwear.
How did that slip in?
You don't know if I'm doing it today or not.
We don't, but it's in my head now.
It's
I
in
can't
your
get it
head
out.
now.
Oh
It's
God,
burning.
Every
Yeah.
time we hook up, it's gonna be, I wonder if he's wearing.
Gary in his underwear. Oh,
Yeah, you can't unsee that. Yeah.
no, you can't. No, please go away, go away. How do you get
Okay,
rid
well,
of
I
that?
gotta get Wrath in here. You guys messed up my timing here. And Wrath pissed me off, and I will end. I'm not really a violent person, but that was the only thing I had for Wrath, you know. It was like, anyway, that was the Magnificent Seven, which has a sequel called Sign of My Times. Sign on my office door if I ever get an office. No lying, cheating, or price gouging. Politicians of any ilk need not apply. And gratuities graciously accepted. That's a sign on my office door. Sign on my condo door if I ever get up the nerve. Contrarians welcome, all others be wary. And here's so what I wanted was I wanted a home for all my negative, snarky poems. And I have more than you might think I have of that type. And here's one. In my cups. When I'm in my cups, communing with my dark side, I tend to view history with the jaundiced eye. Wasn't there a time when Millard Taft and Howard Fillmore were made up names of dead presidents who, for all practical purposes, never really existed? And when future folks come to ponder denizens of more recent power, might they not be adding to the list Adolf Trump, President of the United States, just before the lights went out and we were plunged into our watery graves and stripped of history altogether? Is that a pregnant pause or what?
No, it's just.
Well, that one was just harder to process. The other one was easier to listen to. This one, there's a lot there. So.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm wondering why you got to read 2 in a row.
Yeah, well, he's the
privileged
he's
one.
your
Yeah,
highness,
I know.
your highness Gary.
Gary.
I sort of have a response to that, but sort of not. I guess I did do that, didn't I? I just got busted. Listen. I've never been busted in better company. Let me put it like that.
Wow, that's.
And Teresa, what were you saying? You were saying.
Well, first of all, I was going to say that I agree that last one that you read was pretty deep. In fact, I'd like to read that, or have that, and just kind of ponder it, But
you
but
can
the
have
other
anything I have is yours. I'll
oh,
text it to you. I'll hand it to you since I see you. However
okay.
you want it, you're gonna have it.
Well, why don't you bring it tomorrow night? And I wondered, I was going to ask you permission to let these people know that I actually see you in your underwear quite frequently.
Oh, the visualization.
Oh God, it's back again.
It's burning in my head.
Need an exorcism here.
You are going to put that image in somebody's brain if it's the last thing you do, aren't you?
I'm gonna write a poem about it.
So I just want to know.
Of course you are. Of
Are
course you
they
are.
boxers or are they briefs?
They neither. We got cool underwear these days.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I never liked tidy whities, and I
Yeah.
never liked the boxers.
Okay.
What the ones we got, I think most of us have, are. Well, I'm not totally embarrassed to be seen in them in rehearsal. I mean, I dress as fast as I can,
Oh wow. I thought this was a poetry group, not a lingerie group.
Actually, you know what? The truth is, she kind of stressed that a little bit. The truth is, in this particular show, I wear my own pants. So in this last show, no one has seen my derriere.
Oh, that's not
Okay.
true. That's not true, because you always have to unbuckle your belt and loosen your pants so you can tuck your shirt in that you put on when you get there.
Who knew?
I think we need Teresa to do another
We're
poem.
going.
I do too. I'm all for that.
I've never minded, Gary, not for a second.
You will pay for that. You know that. But I agree with the group. It's your turn.
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This this is going to seem not redundant, but might begin to get boring, because this has the same sort of feel and all of that as my other poems. But my daughter turned 50 last March, and she had a big party. She lives in Seattle. She had a big party, and she asked me to do the toast for this party. So I wrote her a poem, and I had this one on hand here, so I brought it in case I was supposed to read another poem. So anyway, it's pretty quick here. I can't believe you're 50. It's gone by in a whirl. And though you're a grown woman, you're still my baby girl. The moment I first held you, my heart overflowed inside with a love beyond description and an overwhelming pride. In every stage along the way, you've brought me such delight. Shopping, laughing, traveling, planning, and talking late at night. Although you'll always be my child, you've become my greatest friend. Our honest, real connection is on what I most depend. Your beauty is unparalleled, and that's inside and out. Sharing yourself with others is what your life has been about. Your admirable authenticity, your selfless acts of love have brought multiple friendships others are desirous of. Although there have been sadnesses and tears along the way, you must feel so successful on this 50th birthday. Your life is full of blessings and so much cause for joy, the greatest being mother to your remarkable baby boy. I celebrate you, baby girl, and here's to 50 more. Look forward to the future. There's so much more in store. I love you to infinity. You make my mom heart twirl. Thank you for the gift you are, my precious baby girl.
Nice, very nice.
Nicely
Now,
done.
that's a feel-good poem. if I
Nice
ever heard.
flow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it certainly is. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, it wasn't that bad to be here. Actually, I think secretly you've been just waiting to jump in and take over. You know, it's like I think
I'm glad you're here, Teresa. You've really added. I really those poems were both great, and the one that we read when you weren't here was great.
Well, thank you. That was a good poem because it was about Gary.
Oh yeah, it was.
it was. You know what you say it was, but it was about much more than that. You know, I could have been Freddie. You know,
Well,
but
I'm gonna write a poem about Gary and his underwear someday. But for today, I think it's my turn. And tomorrow I turned 70. And that one is just blowing me away. It's blowing my daughters away. And people, I was at rehearsal last night and told them that my birthday was Wednesday and I'm 70. And they were all like, what? You're not 70. They were looking at me like, you're an old man. And I thought, good grief, I'm 70 years old. Yeah, well, you're a decade beyond me, I think. But this one is called, I named this poem A Perfect Number of Tens. And I will post it tomorrow on my Facebook on my 70th birthday. So it's a perfect number of tens. 70 years, 7 decades, a perfect number of tens. And each decade portends what my legacy will become in the very end. It was my deep-rooted passions and my God-endowed gifts that gave me wings upon the wind. And it was God, my family, and all of my friends supporting me that converted my losses into wins. So at 70, I now have less time to live, but more time each day than I ever did way back when. And I'm happy. I've writ a fantastical legacy, at least up to that 70 years, a perfect number of tens.
Very nice.
Nice.
Oh, that's
A happy
good.
man there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. I like turning 72, but I don't think I was quite that powerful with it. You know, I was just like happy, you know. I'm still rocking, you know. So
Well, I'm still blown away by 70. I don't know why. That one just is like, what?
Well, it is, yeah, it's like, it's kind of a big number, you know, but.
Well, yeah.
I-
Okay, let's see. It's Dean.
Yeah, Dean's next.
Well, this one's going to be short and sweet, but it basically it's about it's called "The Clock Has No Batteries." This clock has no batteries. This clock cannot be rewound. This clock cannot go back in time. This clock is running down. The clock cannot tell time. The clock someday will die.
Ooh, that
Oh,
was good.
wow.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
How were you feeling when you wrote that?
Oh, I've got some darker ones than this one. This one's lighter. I mean, I'm
You
just
don't
going
want to
out
ask
tomorrow.
that.
I mean,
I guess
the biggest challenge I have for me is that up till about 8 months ago or that, life was great. I was working out, walking 8-10 miles a day on theater, and then I got the news that I got cancer, and then I found out that I have stage 3, and then I find out that I have sepsis, and then I find out that my colon has gone into my urinary tract, and I got a colostomy bag. So it has a way of somehow changing your attitude a little bit about the way you look at things, right?
Mhm.
But the good news is tomorrow I'm going to find out where I'm at. We'll figure it out. So anyway, so it does help. It does kind of, writing does kind of put you in a place where you're at. And sometimes it may be dark, but it wasn't meant to be dark. It's more sometimes I get reflective, right? So,
Yeah.
and really when I think we talked about this, Gary, when I write, I never know really I don't sit down and say, well, I'm going to write about a clock running down. I just, all of a sudden it starts to flow. So anyway.
Yeah, I remember that conversation, and that's exactly the way I approach almost everything I write. I don't know what it's going to be. If it's not poetry, sometimes the purpose will be sort of like solid and overwhelming. But if it's poetry, I don't know where it's going to go. I'm just happy to get someplace.
It's like when I was 11 years old, I wrote The Last Winter. I mean, 11-year-old writing about dying. I mean, it's just you don't know what's in you as a writer that just flows out and where it comes from, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really take it in. I didn't really hear it as dark. I heard it as I guess I just think sometimes that we as humans are like, no, I'm not dying. But for me, it's like, no, I'm gonna die. One day I will. And I'm getting closer to that day. That's just the truth. That's just life. That's just the way it is. It's not like, no, get out of here, be gone, because I can't, when it happens, it happens.
God,
So
I like that.
Well, that was that other poem you did.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Who is
It's
it
probably
now?
me. That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I read this quite a long time ago, but I think all the players are different here now, except maybe for Gary. So, and you probably won't mind if I read it again. Okay, this is one of my hummingbird poems. It's called The Warlord of the Patio on 27th Street. Magenta would be an awkward name, so we just call him Red. Not his wing and breast tone, but the color of his head. His helmet, black in shadow, is crimson in the sun. A fiery backyard dynamo, his job is never done. Rival hummers test his skill, their tongues will touch the prize. But Red attacks to end the drink and vaults them through the skies. Owner of the feeder, he's the sugar syrup king. Red patrols, defeats the foes, and settles down to sing. His head thrown back, his throat swells wide, he sways like Stevie Wonder. Too bad his song, unbirdlike, is just metallic stutter. Like a spring about to snap, wound tight, an ugly clatter. A whirling, straining, grinding noise, a sound more like a chatter. He's got the looks, he's got the buzz. Shame he's not a singer. but Red's a hit show every day as he defends his dinner. We never lack for intrigue from our deck chair front row seats. Bravo, patio warlord of 27th Street.
Oh, wow.
I love that last line.
Yeah.
Bravo, yeah.
That's great.
Just read that last line again, if you don't mind, because I might want to steal it. I don't know.
Well, you have to have a hummingbird poem, and you have some of them, so
I got
you
a
can
couple
do that.
bird
I
poems.
know.
I got a couple.
Well, the last line is just bravo, patio warlord of
Yeah,
27th.
I just like, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
just-
it's an echo from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
A lot of fun watching hummingbirds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll bring mine along one of these days.
I think it's your turn.
Well, you already did too, but we only have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, you
Gary,
already
so-
did too.
Oh,
So go ahead,
okay.
take more time. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, we only
I
have.
would,
turning the mic
you
on.
know what, I would, what do you call it when you acquiesce to the newbie? Because, she's new and, I'm not, and I will, read an extra poem every chance I get, no doubt about that.
Well,
So-
I don't have any more poems to read, so.
Oh, well, that's okay then, I can
Oh,
read.
in that case.
No, we'll have to throw it back over to Bobby.
Oh, no, I don't have any. Well, I did have one more, but I shut my book of poetry off. So it's not available. But no, I don't need to do another poem.
The question really is, do any of us need to do another one? I mean, if we're-
No,
No, I think
No,
it's a
we
nice,
don't.
nice ending. I think we've had a nice collection of great poetry and it's
yeah,
more blood in there. Teresa, thanks for infusing the group here, and Dale, brilliant, and of course Bobby, brilliant as well. So I think now we just keep building on that energy. So this is good stuff. So thanks.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Teresa,
y'all
you
do
really
know
had it.
that we our YouTube thing is ongoing. If you don't have the link, I'll send it to you, but you should have it. And they're kind of cool, especially the ones that I've forgotten about, and so check them out.
All right.
Encourage your friends.
All right.
It was nice to meet all of you, Dean and Dale. Very nice to meet you.
Mhm. Nice to meet you too, Teresa.
Thank you.
And of course, you will all be coming back in 2 weeks.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah,
Okay, Bobby. I think you're the designated.
keep on writing because
It's
it's
good,
good
for
for
you.
you. Awesome.
Ah,
See you guys next
can't-
time.
yeah.
Okay, see you next
I look
time.
forward so much to seeing you guys, and
Right.
see you soon.